Yeah, roll up the green, hit the links with RGB. Pitch, putt, and puff, it's our podcast theme. Talking Burt and Bogies, holding one dream. Golf cart cruising, we're the illest team. Pitch, putt, and puff, light it up, hit the rough. Every swing's a story, we can't get enough. Hazards and hard times, we know it's tough, but we live for the game, fam, that's our stuff. Got my clubs in the trunk, blunt in the front. Tee off in the noon, cause we don't bunt. Discussing the course, weed strains for lunch. Straight shooters on the greens, not a front. Pitch, put and puff, light it up, hit the rough. Every swing's a story, we can't get enough. Hazards and hard times, we know it's tough, but we live for the game, fam, that's our stuff. Smoking aces, laces tied tight. With a puff we fly, elevate the night. Golf ball soaring, higher than a kite. Fairway to heaven, shining real bright. Pitch, foot and puff, light it up, hit the rough. Every swing's a story, we can't get enough. Hazards and hard times, we know it's tough, but we live for the game, fam, that's our stuff.
And we're back here in another episode of the Pitch, Putt, and Puff podcast. My name is Roger, a.k.a. RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Before we get cooking, though, with our guests, we're going to give a shout-out to a couple sponsors. First, we're starting off with Transcend Wellness, located at 289 Oakwood Avenue in Troy. Make sure you guys stop in there, check them out. Everything you're looking for, flowers, pre-rolls, edibles, tinctures, vapes, you name it, they got it. They also have a cool event coming up that they're sponsoring. The Puff and Paint, located over in Cohoes on Remsen Street. It's going to be March 7th, so make sure you guys stop in there, check it out. You can register online on the site here and the picture. I'll post it on Instagram as well. But yeah, go check it out. It should be a pretty cool event, the Puff and Paint. You can bring your own, or you can set up delivery from Transcend, which I highly recommend. Grabbing some of their dank products. Tonight I'll be getting into a dank purple haze, so that'd be the smoke of the night. So make sure you guys check them out, transcendwps.com. If you don't feel like getting out of the car, they do have a drive-through available, as well as a delivery service. So make sure you guys go check out Transcend Wellness at transcendwps.com. Also, got to give a shout-out to the guys over at Shady Shafts, shadyshafts.com. Use promo code PUFF20. PUFF20 will save you 20% at checkout. Shady Shafts makes wraps for your clubs, drivers, wedges, irons, putters, doesn't matter. They have a style for every golfer out there. The camouflage, the smoke effect, the flowers, you name it, they got it. You'll definitely find something you like. And there's some minor customizations they do, where I have the cannabis flower and had RGB personalized right on the shaft. So really cool, easy to apply. Go check them out, shadyshafts.com, promo code PUFF20 to save yourself 20%. And then I got to give a shout out to the guys over at Back Nine Botanicals. Make sure you guys go check them out. They hooked RGB up with a really dope Back Nine Botanicals hat as well. As you can see here in the picture, they're available on the website, as well as their CBD gummies, the THC shooters, something to get you through every point of the day. Make sure you guys go check out Back Nine Botanicals, the CBD leaders in the golf world for sure. Check them out, back9botanicals.com. Use promo code TPUFF10. TPUFF10 will save you 10% at checkout. These gummies are top-notch for sure. Just got a fresh batch of the Tea Time Sunrise and my other favorites, the Moonlight Mulligan and the Birdie Boost. So go check them out over at Back Nine Botanicals. Use promo code TPUFF10. Also, real quick, want to give a shout out to my man A.O. Toppy. He hooked up this Pitch, Putt, and Puff crew with some hats. I do have some available. If you're interested, DM me. If you're local in the 518. If not, I can ship one to you. So we'll figure that out. Check it out, the Pitch, Putt, and Puff podcast on Instagram. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to bring in our guest here tonight. And we're back here on the podcast with our guest from Athlethc THC. We got John and GW. Guys, really appreciate the time.
Yeah, man. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. The opportunity to be on there is great.
No, really cool. Really cool. You guys golf at all? I forgot to ask you that before we started recording. I see some videos on your page and stuff that, the product sounds like it is perfect for golf. So do you guys play any golf yourselves?
We are, I would say, below average golfers for sure.
That's like the pitch putt and puff crew.
I used to be like a keep the clubs in the trunk guy, but unfortunately I haven't been able to play a lot of golf for the past few. I have going on, actually his birthday's tomorrow, a 4-year-old and going on 2. So it was like marriage, kids, boom, boom, boom. I missed
Free time out the window.
Oh my God. I was trying like heck to get a boat before it all happened. Didn't happen. And then the golf clubs went from the trunk to the crawl space.
You got to have the stroller in there now.
Dude, double baby seat. Truck. I'm loaded up.
I'm like a Duke freshman, man. One and done. I got a 7-year-old daughter. That's it.
Yeah, man. I'm with you on that. I have a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to say, hey, can you watch her opposed to them, you know?
Yeah.
Oh the leap from 0 to 1 is the leap from 1 to 2 is just as dramatic.
Oh yeah, and it just keeps going, brother. Just keeps going.
We're done.
Keeps going.
I'm good with 1. It's great, man.
That's it. It's good enough, man. It's everything right there. So before we get into your products, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves and how the journey to Athlethc began?
Man, we'll make that short.
It's a loaded question, but yeah.
Loaded question. Yeah. So G-Dub and I, we've been working together for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, maybe a little bit more. G-Dub was the co-founder of a prominent beverage company called Killcliff. I came on years later and spent about 5 years as CEO. That's when we started working together and just really clicked and meshed especially on creativity and product ideas, complementary skill set. But before all that, man, I was a college dropout. I played guitar in a metal band. I went to the Navy. I became a SEAL, which was super cool. And then I went back, paid my way through college and did a bunch of corporate jobs and then got into startups probably about, I don't know, in earnest 15 years ago or so. And I did like something in security, technology. And I ended up in Killcliff. The guy who founded it was a teammate of mine in the SEAL teams. So they kind of went through a slump and needed a lot of help, new energy. And I was looking for a change. And that was kind of my foray into consumer products.
Nice.
Yeah.
That Killcliff was the product you guys did with Rogan and Cam Hanes, correct?
Yeah. We that was actually G-Dub and I. We built a partnership with Joe Rogan and we did 2 drinks with him, which was super cool. I mean, we had been partners with him for over 4 years now. And then the last drink we did before selling the company back to the founder, Todd, was called Elk Blood. And we did that. That one was great because we did it with Rogan and Cam Hanes. Mm-hmm. And then we were talking before we got on about Brian Callen. He made the most outrageous video for Elk Blood. It was amazing.
I've probably seen that video. I think that's why I remember the name.
He was like doing the elk bugle.
Yes. I did see that.
That was like that drink was probably like the best drink, like one of the top drinks we ever created. And the company couldn't keep it in stock. When we launched it, we had we kind of benchmarked it off previous demand generation sort of metrics from previous launches with Joe. And so we produced a supply that would last about 45 to 60 days. It was gone in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And it takes a lot of lead time to get line time. So we were out of stock for like 2 months getting it back in. But that drink was amazing. It just it's funny watching like Dana White drinking it in like black cups on UFC interviews, or Sage Steele drinking it with Dana White, and then
that's so cool.
Joe giving it to people on the podcast. Like G-Dub and I created that drink. Like, so we created the spicy pineapple. It's real famous to Flaming Joe and all those, and so it's really great like seeing these people that these mega stars out there.
Yeah, I mean, some of the most famous people in the world right there.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool, man. And that's kind of, and G-Dub, I'm talking for a while. He can jump in there.
G-Dub, you have the MMA background a little bit?
Well, yeah, I never fought, just some amateur stuff. My brother fought professionally, but I was, wrestling football in high school, and I wrestled a little bit after. And then we got in, this is all the BJJ stuff.
Okay.
So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, competed in that for a long, long time. So Timar is actually a black belt. I'm going on 3rd-degree black belt here in a couple months.
Nice.
And so we've been in that space for like a long time, the grappling space.
Is that how you guys met Rogan and stuff? Was through the MMA?
It's actually through Killcliff. So when we launched the original Tasty, the blood orange OG flavor, we only had one when we launched. That was in 2011. Okay. He got a hold of it somehow, and then I just started sending it to him, and he just loved the drink. He had it around all the time. Obviously, we're sending him free product, but that guy gets mountains of free product. Right. And he would just give us some organic love every once in a while. And so, I'm like, this is awesome, right? So we just kept sending it to him. And that's actually kind of how we got into the cannabinoid space. Is we created a CBD version of that original blood orange tasty drink. And we launched it as a limited edition and kicked it out. It's like we had no idea what it was going to do. It was still sort of gray area in the legal market, and we just kicked it out, put limited edition, used our blood orange formula and tweaked it a little bit, and it went bonkers. We sent that to Joe Rogan, and he just posted organically without us. It's like, I just found my new favorite drink, and it was just a picture of that can. We're like, oh my God. So I
still remember the date. It was September 13th, 2019.
Yeah. Boom. And that was sort of the beginning of the relationship professionally with Rogan. We sort of, we're like, dude, you're doing so much for us. Let's make this a thing. And that's kind of when it came together shortly after that. But that was the beginning of getting into the cannabinoid space. So we were thinking, we always wanted to do more in that space, but it just the Killcliff wasn't the vehicle to do that. Right. So when the opportunity came, we'd been sort of noodling on this idea, and we always wanted to do THC, not just CBD. Like, people love CBD, but nobody really knows what it does. It does something different for everybody. Some people, it makes them tired. Some people, it's a pain reliever. Some people, it's anxiety. But everyone kind of knows what THC does and what it does. It's kind of like caffeine or alcohol or something that people are accustomed to. They know what it does. And so that's when we came up sort of with this brand, and we wanted to kind of build a better mousetrap. We knew we didn't want to do beverage, and we knew it wasn't going to be like a typical type of, edible. So the mint was just, we got together and we just came up with it, and we're like, dude, this is perfect. Oral absorption. It's much faster. It's more precise, doesn't melt. It's in a super portable sort of container, a steel little credit card size tin that dudes will actually put in their pocket. So that's how we sort of came up with the idea. And we the time in the market is right now. It's a hemp derived product, but THC is THC no matter where you get it from. So it's federally legal in almost every state. And, we sell it online. We're building this. We just literally just launched this in December, soft launch. Okay. So Brendan Schaub was probably one of the first influencers that posted for us. And that was the video I seen. I was like, let me check this out. And I mean, your marketing worked, because here we are now for sure. And it's one of those things, like, I clicked on your page and I seen that, you had a couple of pictures with the golf and stuff, as I said earlier. And when I was thinking about it, it correlates perfectly. Like, because I was talking on another podcast recently with a guest, and when you're smoking out, like, say you're smoking a joint out there on the golf course, there's a certain level you have to get to where your focus and your concentration and everything kind of goes out the window. It's almost like the fuck it. Once you get to the fuck it stage, that's where you are, and like with these, it seems like I seen you had the microdosing in there, so it seems like it kind of keeps it to, find your limit, find your nice level for you. That's exactly what we thought about. It was kind of like this idea of, let's create something that is stackable. You could take the right amount to the state of mind you're trying to get into. And like you said, it's different for everybody, but I think for the vast majority of people, once you start getting up over 5 milligrams, you start going from productive to the couch with Doritos. Yeah. Well, what we wanted was something that's less, each one of the mints, and this is the size of a credit card or a nicotine 10. It fits in your pocket. Dudes, chicks will carry it around in their pocket and they won't even know it's there. But the idea was getting small dose, rapid onset mints, oral absorption. I actually just put one in. So the onset's really fast, but it's mild, smooth, and predictable. So you get the same effect every time. And starting at 2 milligrams, if you're a heavy dose user, you might need more. You might have a higher tolerance and want, several mints. But for the vast majority of people, 1 or 2 mints is going to get them in that sort of sub-perceptual to /semi-perceptual enhanced mood state
enhanced focus because it's like you dial in before you dial out, right? So it dials you in and focuses you. And that's where we think the sweet spot is. And that's where we think it can help in all sorts of different endeavors, but athletics and sports being a top one. And that's really what we're trying to do is build a brand that focuses on the fitness minded, health and wellness people, active lifestyle, people out playing golf, people like me and G-Dub doing jujitsu every day.
Yeah.
People that are living active lifestyles. It's huge in bodybuilding. The more we've learned, like these guys, like they a lot of them vape before they lift, and enhances their mind-body connection with that small dose and their mood state. So we're kind of catering to this audience, which is completely underserved. Like the whole industry is focused on getting you blitzed, higher dose, scary branding, like stuff that people don't really want to display in their cabinets or in front of their friends. Maybe a couple dudes having a good time golf, they probably wouldn't care. But the vast majority of people are like, yeah, I'm going to tuck that away because I don't want people to see it. I'm embarrassed of it. Yep. It's a stigma.
There's still the stigma. There's definitely still. So in New York, it just, cannabis became legalized. We're going on almost probably 3 years now, like recreationally. But there's still the stigma around it. Like you see people, if you smell like it somewhere, you see people looking back at you and that kind of thing. But
they probably want to join you.
What's that?
They probably want to join you.
Yeah, probably half of them. Yeah, for sure. It's tough sometimes.
Right. Yeah, it can be off-putting, right? And that's kind of like the mint. It actually freshens your breath. It's a mint. It's clean. The packaging. We wanted to create packaging that you could put on the table at dinner or lunch with your cell phone, and nobody thinks twice. There's no pot leaves all over it. There's, it's not the branding appeals to the 90% instead of the 10%. And that was done on purpose because we think there is a lot of people that are already using THC, but it's not like a standardized process. When you smoke, you really don't know how much you're getting. You have no idea how many milligrams, what other cannabinoids are in there. So when you can dial in the formulas to be super precise, we call it empowerment through precision. You can really dial in the experience every time to that perfect level where you're not sort of guessing. You don't go from that productive, awesome flow state zone to that like, okay, now I'm off, the road. Yeah. Like can't wait for the turn. Now I'm cranking beer. It's like you can stay in that place where you feel really good and you're still with it. You're actually locked in more. It's like using THC to be more productive instead of left. We call it like, we want the weekday warriors, like you can't be blitzed, and also get shit done. It's hard.
It doesn't happen. Right. It's damn near impossible. Believe me, I've tried.
If you want to be a weekend warrior and still puff it up and you got, Netflix and chill, dude, I'm all about it. But I can't do that during the week. Got 2 little kids, got, all day, got to hit the gym. Like I want something that increases my productivity and still lets me be responsible. And so this is kind of it. Like we're getting really great feedback on it. In fact, we got to send you some. I don't know if you've tried it yet. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I'd love to try it for sure. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So with you guys, you have the 3 different times. You have the power, the flow, and rebound. Now, are they like sativa, hybrid, indica based, or how do you guys go about that?
Well, each formula is a different stack of cannabinoids. All of them have 2 milligrams of delta 9 THC, and there's another 12 milligrams of hemp actives in each mint for different performance effects. Like the power mint has a compound called THCV, which helps regulate your metabolism. It gives you a slightly energizing effect. And it has CBG in there, and CBG for the nerds is like considered the mother of all cannabinoids, and it really is helpful for focus and inflammation. The Flow Mint, which is a wintergreen flavor, has a 2 milligrams of delta 9, hemp-derived delta 9, with 2 milligrams of CBD and then 10 milligrams of CBG. So CBG is kind of the larger of the non-psychoactive cannabinoids in the first 2 flavors, and the wintergreen Flow formula is really kind of a neutral effect that you just really get dialed in. And then the Rebound, which is a cool, we call it Cool Mint, but it's a really good peppermint flavor. It's got 2 milligrams of CBC, which is a really cool cannabinoid that has some really interesting research behind it. And then it has 10 milligrams of CBD. So you're getting like 2 milligrams of THC, 10 milligrams of CBD in a mint. And then all the mints are the flavors are all derived from the natural oils. So cinnamon's coming directly from that. Peppermint and wintergreen, respectively, are coming from the associated plant. So it's very natural. And then the flavoring is it's stevia. So there's nothing artificial in it.
Right.
So it tastes great, and it's the flavor. It's just amazing because when you're consuming it, you don't even know it doesn't have any of the if you're one who's sensitive to hemp and cannabis, that real sort of grassy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any of that. It actually tastes better than Altoid. It just tastes amazing.
We think.
Right.
So kind of as that sativa indica question, it kind of is like that because the only difference between sativa and indica is the stack of cannabinoids in the plant on top of the THC levels. So that's what gives it that sort of either heady or body sort of feeling. So you take out the cannabinoids that you like and that work well together in certain ratios, and you dial them into like a precise dosage. So kind of it is like that. You're taking different cannabinoid stacks and putting it in different formulations. So dumbing it down completely, it's kind of like actually like that.
All right. Yeah, because honestly, my favorite thing about it is that it's a mint, to be honest with you. So like when you take a gummy or something, you don't know when that's kicking in.
Dude, you don't know anything about it.
You don't know nothing. Like you could take, all right, I took a 10. Well, I didn't feel anything. Let me take another 10. You do, and then an hour later, you're sitting on the couch drooling on yourself because you're cooked. So like at that point, it's like, all right, you got to find the balance. Now with the mints, it's going to instantly hit your bloodstream. You're instantly going to feel the effect within what? Right. 10, 15 minutes probably at most.
I say 10, 20 for most people.
Yeah. So you know, like you said, you know what you're getting, you know the dose you're getting. I think that's the best thing you guys did right there for sure.
Roger, one of the cool things that you were just saying though, it's really interesting because it would have been simple. It would have been way easier actually to just create gummies and put them out like everyone else.
Right.
But the thing that people don't understand about gummies, the reason it takes so long to set in is because they process through your liver. And the reason absolutely everybody has a terrible gummy story is because your liver creates a secondary psychoactive effect through a compound called 11-hydroxy-THC that your body produces when you process a THC gummy. So you're getting in the 11-hydroxy-THC. It's like 5 to 10 times more psychoactive than the THC in the gummy you just consumed.
Yep.
So like that's why everyone is like it hits them and it's unpredictable and they like it, they don't like it, and they eat too much. So that's exactly what we're trying to get away from because that's not performance. We want, like, if you're going out in the golf course and you're on your way to the course, you want to pop your mint and be ready to go. You don't want to be like waiting for 9 holes into it and then all of a sudden you've taken too much and you just want to sit in the golf cart. Like, well, who wants that?
Yep.
Or your buddy's just moving on without you because you've just become a slob.
Yeah, you're just exactly. You're just slapping the ball around at that point. Yep.
Yeah.
I actually learned about that on Rogan. I think he brought it up when taking the edible. That's where I actually learned about that. And even like with chocolates, you don't know in that chocolate what square you break off, how much THC is exactly in that chocolate, and that kind of thing as well. I know chocolate hits a little bit different than the gummy because of the way you digest it and all, but still, you don't know what you're getting. Like with this, you're going to know exactly what you're getting, which is really
that's
cool.
it. We want to give the control to the consumer. It's in a way what we think we're doing is and attempting to do is change the narrative in the whole industry where people are like they don't know what they're getting. We want to give them exactly what they want, and we want to take the experience and give the control to them to have dictate that experience. If they want to use our product recreationally, they can. That's not what we're focused on. Right. But you can easily have like 3 mints and a margarita and have a fantastic night. Like you're good.
Right.
Totally good, right? But but at least if you decide to do that, you know exactly how it's going to affect you and how long it takes to affect you, and it's not different. It's always the same.
What do you guys tell people when they're first starting? Like, what's the recommended dosage?
Just take a mint, just one.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Olympic level athletes using our product. We have professional athletes already using it, all the way down to recreational pickleballers and recreational golfers and combat sports athletes, MMA fighters, BJJ athletes. And we just tell all of them, just start with 1 mint. And, they're giving us feedback the whole time. We got, one guy's like, dude, before training, I take 2 minutes now, and 2 minutes is perfect. I'm like, well, you're a big dude, and that's just perfect for you. You found it the right way. You ate 1 for a little while, and then you ate 2, and now you're good. You found that perfect like productive zone where you're in the flow state and you don't take too much. But yeah, it's definitely, I would start with just 1 minute. You'd be surprised how effective a smaller dose can be, right? Because a lot of times you just take a little too much, right? And you don't actually need as much as you think to get where you actually want to be. So yeah, 1 minute. And then, at night I'll eat 2 minutes. I'll eat the rebound. I'll eat right after dinner. I'll take 2 of the rebound minutes. I feel great. I've got nothing left to do. I just watch some TV. Kids are in bed. All my stuff's done, and I sleep really well.
Nice.
Yeah. What's the word you use? Intra-workout endorphins, G-Dub?
Yeah. Like it's kind of funny. It's like when you actually take like a power or flow mint and then you do something really active, it energizes, that sort of runner's high, that inner workout endorphin that get, that's why working out makes you feel good. It's hard, but it makes you feel good. It amplifies those sort of intra workout endorphins. So there's
because once you get through that workout you don't want to get through, you feel pretty good about yourself when you're done, kind of thing.
And during the workout where you're creating like, the endorphins of actually, whatever you're doing, if you're, lifting weights or running or whatever it is you're doing, training, it sort of amplifies that great feeling, and that positive mindset and reinforcement. So yeah, it's intra workout endorphins are amplified for sure.
Now you guys offer these in the single packs, like for all 3, right? And a variety pack I've seen as well.
We have the single packs right here. So I get on my camera the right way. There we go.
Yeah.
Boom. There's 28 mints in here.
Okay.
We wanted to get 30 in, but we need to put a desiccant in for preservation. So there's 28 in here, and then I think G-Dub held up the 3-pack variety pack that we have.
Yeah, this is the sorry, put my cinnamon back in there. This is the basically the sampler pack, the VIP. It comes in a sweet box, and then when you open it up, it's got all 3 10s. Obviously, golfer right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Float. Yep. And that's how it comes. This is actually what I recommend starting with, right? So you've got 1 of each. You can figure out what's your favorite and try it at multiple different usage occasions, right? So
yeah, you find out what clicks for you, get comfortable with it, and boom, you're rolling. That's awesome. Now, do you guys have any plans for any other products in the future?
I mean, we have lots of ideas, but right now, I mean, we're just focused. We think this is a great form factor, as you said, and I think we'll look at potentially some additional formulations down the road. We'll take our customer feedback and we'll adapt as we need to as we grow. And we do have some other really interesting ideas that would kind of meet the criteria for our brand, which is rapid onset, portability, function, like functional benefits. Like these are functional products, and something that we like anything that you're like absorbing orally. Like that's an important thing, I think.
Yeah.
And
you guys got in, I mean, really at the right time, where I think the stigma is really starting to go away from cannabis, and you're going to get more than just the people who've been around it for their whole life that are trying it. You're going to get the newcomers to like, okay, this is a lower dose. Let me try this. And like we said before, where it's under control, that's, I think, the biggest thing for newcomers to the cannabis world is, finding their level, like we've been talking about, and keeping something under control where they know where they're at.
Yeah.
And they know what they're getting.
We sent some product to some athletes, and the feedback was, he's like, dude, I stopped smoking. I used to smoke every night. I just eat mints throughout the day, and I'll eat a mint and I feel great all day. But the funny thing was I gave this to my grandmother and my mom, neither of which had ever had THC in any form before, but they saw the mints and immediately wanted to try it after they heard what it was all about. So that's like music to our ears. I'm like, that's amazing. You've got grandma who's never tried it before, is all over the mints, and mom too. And the guy felt comfortable enough to, this is your first THC experience, have a mint.
Yeah. Dude, I've been trying to get my mom to take a gummy for years now. She just will not pull it. I've tried to trick her and put them in like a fruit snacks pack and everything else. She won't do it. She won't do it.
That's amazing.
Give her a mint. it's a good segue into THC for sure.
I think I think the 60 plus demographic is one of the fastest growing demographics in the category. I mean, these people are looking, their bodies hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have health issues. They're looking for ways to improve their quality of life, and it is a fast growing demo. It's funny seeing family friends who anything hemp cannabis was devil's lettuce, right?
Right.
Now they're all about it. They're like, this is making my life so much better. The topical is taking the pain out of my knee after knee replacement or whatever their situation might be. It's really funny. I mean, it's cool. It's cool watching them.
That's absolutely and like people are realizing that the medicinal purposes to it. I butchered that, but you're getting, like, on your guys' end too, you're getting the performance out of it. You're not just getting the recovery. You're getting performance. Like, this might sound crazy, but I used to smoke a joint and go play a basketball game.
No,
not to you guys, I guess, because like I would find that where I would be less stressed out. I would go into the game carefree. I would be more likely to throw in Jason Williams no look pass, off my elbow or something.
Creativity.
You know what I mean? I didn't care. It was being more creative on the court as well. The only sport I couldn't play when I smoked was baseball. Sitting out in the outfield trying to catch a fly ball and don't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, athletes have been using this for a long, long, long time. Basketball, the NBA. I don't know if they've ever tested for THC. I don't think they have. And,
they do once in the beginning of the year, and then they don't test again for the rest of the season.
That's right.
That's how they used to do it. They don't anymore.
Did you see today? One of our partners was sitting around the link to NASCAR is now taking Delta 9 sponsorships.
It's growing. It's going to be like Budweiser and Coors Light before you know it.
It is. Last thing you want to do with Delta 9 is drive fast, though. But I don't think you're capable of doing that. But it's just really interesting watching everything open up. And USC did a deal with a straight up cannabis company, like an NIL deal with the college.
Oh, wow.
So times are definitely changing. NCAA took it off the banned substances list, and they don't test for it anymore. They're treating it like alcohol. Oh. And what's interesting is we have NCAA athletes that are using our mints as intended for performance. Something G-Dub was alluding to earlier. Like we're getting great feedback from current athletes saying, "Hey, I'm taking these before my games or my practices, and it's helping me in particular ways." So, so that's been really interesting to see. Just watching kind of just really weird dynamic where people are slowly accepting it. The stigma is going away, but then the brands in the category are doubling down on the stuff that's going to give them more stigma.
Right.
But then at the same time, you have these massive sports leagues opening up to it, and then you have state legislators trying to do everything they can to block it, even though it's federally legal. It's just crazy.
It's nuts. And if you look back to like with sports, how it's players aren't even being tested for it anymore. You look back at Ricky Williams, 15 years ago, and the guy basically got kicked out. Him, Josh Gordon, these guys got kicked out of the league for smoking a joint. It's like, it's just so crazy to me in the long scheme of things.
When we were at Killcliff, we hosted one of the large like NFL players. I think it's NFL Players Association party. It was we had this really nice warehouse in Midtown, which we were part of, and the owner of the warehouse was hosting the party. It's a big space, and all these guys were in there. It was cement. Our office was a CrossFit gym, right? It was just all cement, like wall of warehouse. It took us literally a week to get the smell of reefer from that party out. I remember going up. I saw Marshawn Lynch there. And I went up and I was like, "Yo, dude!" Boom! From behind, didn't know who I was. He's just there. He's hanging out by himself, waiting for people. I'm like, boom. First of all, he looked at me like he's about to kill me. Second of all, I almost had to go stick my hand in an ice bath because, like, this dude, like, if you look down from the side, like from his delt to his pec was like, dude, it was massive. This guy's like he's a brick house, man.
Yeah, you don't realize it until you get up close to some of these guys, man.
Yeah, it was a Super Bowl, the NFL Players Association Super Bowl, because we're based in Atlanta and our office is in Midtown Atlanta. So when the Super Bowl was in Atlanta a few years back, they rented the entire building for 2 parties. The funny thing was, it was an after party for, I forget what team it was. It was a team that
Rams,
lost.
Rams Patriots.
Yes, and it was a dead party.
Yeah.
The post
Snoop
party.
Dogg was supposed to come sing. They had some guys like acts like Florida, if that's how you say it. But
Flow Rider, yeah.
yeah, they're supposed to have these big acts come in, and I was there till like 4 a.m. waiting for these. I mean, the party was still going on, like waiting for these acts to come in. But they went to the Patriots party because they won.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's where everybody's gonna be. Yep.
apparently, about 30 minutes after I left, Snoop came in and like tore it up for like an hour. Like
Oh, that'd be
this whole
dope.
thing. I
Damn.
waited all night, and then I was like, I got to get home. I have responsibilities. Things are happening. I left, and the party happened.
Yeah, let's just say there's plenty of attendees there smoking joints in there.
Yes. Is cannabis legal in Atlanta?
No.
Hemp is legal. Cannabis is medicinal, and
Okay, medicinal only.
Decriminalized, but it's not legal. Like a certain amount you can hold, but they could still, if they really wanted to, press it.
Yeah.
Get you in trouble. So it's still technically illegal.
Do you guys think is there any point of legalization down there?
I think it's going to stair step, but like Atlanta and the rest of Georgia are almost two completely different states. You know,
Gotcha. Yeah.
so but obviously Atlanta is the big kind of hub in the middle of the state.
It's really interesting is there's like a war between that's probably an overstatement between cannabis and hemp, because cannabis is licensed. It's either medicinal or recreational, and different recreational states have different policies around that. But it has to be sold out of a dispensary. I know there's a ton sold online, but technically it's supposed to be sold out of a dispensary, which creates an environment where people have to go to a storefront, get it, bring it home. So a lot of people that like the THC, but they don't really like dispensary culture. And on the other hand, hemp is, THC derived hemp, which is the same exact molecule, is federally legal. And the way the way the regulations work is the dry weight of the product, the THC content has to be under 0.3% THC. So that opens up a whole world. That's why you have these seltzers out there, because water is heavy. Like it's a heavy product, and it's literally weighs nothing from the put 10, 25, 50, whatever milligrams of THC they want in there.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of a shift, and it's actually gotten to the point where you've seen some of the largest cannabis operators in North America, like Curaleaf, for example. They own tons of dispensaries, vertically integrated operations. They're huge. I think they're the biggest. They've recently invested in building a hemp portfolio, because that's like, if you want to sell nationally, you want to sell federally, it's legal in almost every state. There's only like 3 or 4 states that we can't ship to. You can build a brand, and that's really difficult in cannabis when you're stuck in dispensaries. Like there's no real way to build a brand like that. But when you can do, relatively unfettered online marketing, organic social, you can drive awareness online to your brand, and you can actually, that's kind of one of the things we're trying to accomplish with Athlethc. We think we have an opportunity to be a national brand that's pioneering the movement of THC and other functional cannabinoids into plant-based nutraceuticals, where basically no one's doing that.
Yeah.
People start down that path, they can't help themselves. They all go right back to like, I'm going to try to stir up the highest doses possible and the craziest products. Like they just can't stay the course.
Right. And I think too, your branding is very smart. So like with me on social media, for example, I've had an issue because I got a golf ball smoking a joint. So I had videos in the beginning, like I had the different one, this logo here. I had to change it to this other current one because I can kind of hide the joint behind them. Right. When I first had this other one, any video I posted on there, it got flagged. I got a warning and this and that, and it turned into a headache. I was like, I'm not growing. I was stuck at like 150 followers when I started this page and doing the podcast for months. Couldn't get any headway. Switched the logo, boom, I'm up to like almost 2,300 in a year. So a lot of stuff changed. Like I had to be careful how I maneuvered around social media, and stuff like that. But like the way you guys are doing it, it's so smart, because they're not gonna flag you left and right like most people.
We fought the same battles that you fought, like when we were at Killcliff and launched the CBD portfolio, and we were a pretty sizable brand at that point. But like we had so many tricks up our sleeves to get around the algorithms. We learned it all on the fly, and we learned like some of the headaches and hiccups. Like, so with this brand, like it was really like part of getting getting this idea of THC in the name itself, I think it's really effective because it's the name of the company. Like we're doing business as Athlethc. You can't shut that down, and it's the name. So in a pithy way. So I think that was a big thing that and then also the very clean packaging, right? There's no, I can get back on here the right way. There's no like hemp leaves, marijuana leaves on there.
Exactly.
They don't put like a lot of people in the industry really nerd out and putting their formula like ratios. That doesn't mean anything to a consumer. Like the nerds, it does, but the average consumer's like, I guess that's good. So I mean, we have our formula information on the back, but like we take out everything on the front that would kind of either get us flagged or be something that they would play into the stigma that we're trying to get away from and that we think consumers are trying to get away from.
And probably bring in a whole different audience that, by doing it that way as well.
Yeah.
Mom and grandma trying it out.
That's right.
Susie's I'm going to slip these in an Altoids case and Susie's going to take a cup. I'll let you know how
Yeah, do it, man. Tell us how that goes down.
You might get it past the goalie straight up, just the way it looks. It's mint, microdose. I mean, if you're ever going to do it, this is the way.
That's the way to do it. I'll do it on like a day where I'm going to be with her the whole day too, so she won't have her little panic attack. Because like her, literally, she grew up so old school. Like it's, she's like, oh, it's like doing heroin. It's like that's their mindset. They went through like the DARE program. You're frying your brain on drugs. They lied to you. I'm sorry to tell you, but it scared the hell out of them.
Yeah. That's awesome. Get her after the morning coffee or something.
Yep, there we go.
You want that? Yeah.
There it is. I'm going to ask you guys wrap up with one MMA question. Who do you guys think wins this weekend's main event? Is oh my God, Pierre, take him down?
I'm gonna defer to Dubs on that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see him. He said he's going to stand up with him, so
I know that's where you can you though.
If he's going to do that, he's going to have a long night. I just don't see anyone beating Pereira. If I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, Pereira and Ankalaev. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I got into the UFC during COVID because it was really the only thing on, and I've been locked in pretty much ever since.
Dude.
I wish I'm 40 years old. I don't have the time to start like training, but I wish when I was 19 or 20, not that I would do competitive or anything, but just to do it. One, for like the discipline aspect of it and everything else, but just because I did football, baseball, basketball my whole life, pretty athletic guy. So like just to see, to do it would be pretty cool.
Old to go to a BJJ gym.
Yeah,
I was competing at 40 years old. I just turned 50 and competing up until a few years ago. But at 40 years old, I mean, I was training almost every day, and you're not too old. In fact, I think you'd find it pretty enjoyable.
I train jiu-jitsu in the mornings, and like the morning class is all dudes, mostly over 40. All the way up into their mid 60s. So it's not, and there's a lot of people that come in their early 40s and start training. So you're not too old.
I feel like that old guy showing up to the class with a bunch of 18. That's what I felt like on a basketball court. That's why I stopped playing hoop. I came home from work one day. I was 35 to 36, and I was guarding this 18-year-old kid who just got out of the swimming pool all day on a summer vacation. And I'm chasing him up and down the court. I'm like, bro, I'm shot, man. I'm all done here. I ain't doing this no more. I'm going to play golf.
That's old man basketball rules right there, man. You got to throw the elbows. You got to push the hips.
You can hang with 18-year-olds in BJJ if you know what you're doing. For sure. You can actually yoke them up pretty good. A lot of people start when they get their kid into it, and they're late 30s, early 40s, and they bring the kid in. It's huge right now. The sport is growing like crazy.
It's got to be one of the fastest growing sports out there for sure.
Yeah, it's the kid programs they get because it's a bully-proof thing, and the confidence. It's kind of like wrestling light, if that makes sense. Wrestling is for savages, and BJJ is sort of you can put your daughter in the class and feel okay. It's more of a gentleman's. You're still trying to submit each other and break each other's limbs, but it's a different like wrestling their dogs.
Right. And you see a lot of guys doing it too. Like Joey Diaz has his daughter in it. You hear, obviously Callan's got his son in it now. So you see a lot of these guys who are around it putting their kids in it. So obviously it's doing something.
I brought my
Yeah.
3, but he just wasn't ready yet. He was just like a fruit fly in there.
Who's
I'm
the
like, I'll be back in a year and a half.
Vince Vaughn? He's the actor, right, from Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
And yeah. I saw a post the other day. He's got one of his kids. I don't know how many kids he has. He was at jiu-jitsu practice with his kids.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a parent, but yeah, it is getting pretty big.
cool.
You know, it's interesting. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's called IBJJF, International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. They have a tournament, the Masters tournament, every like around Labor Day, September-ish, late August, early September. They have 100,000 people show up to that as spectators. They have 40,000 people on the floor every day. They have 10,000 people competing, just one tournament over one like 3-day weekend.
Wow.
Also, high school wrestling for boys and girls last year was the fastest growing sport in America. High school sport. So
they do the wrestling. I don't know if it's the national championship or a regional, but they do something up here in Albany. Well, they did the past few years. They've been at our local arena, and there's so many people coming to town to watch that. It's unbelievable. It's like one of the big things around here when it does happen. So
yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
It's cool. We never had wrestling at our school, so it was not something I never got into growing up.
Did you go to high school in New York?
Yeah, upstate New York. I grew up in Troy, just outside of Albany.
Gotcha.
I'm sure you guys had some like interesting sport like curling or something that doesn't exist out here.
We're not that cold, man. We didn't have shit. No, we didn't have anything crazy like that.
My daughter's school has a bass fishing team.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm trying to get her on it. She's a couple of girls from her class are in. I'm like, really? Well,
that's Georgia.
Yeah. I'm on a lake out here. I would love to do that. Sit there, go to class bass fishing. Yeah, all right, I'll do that. Sign me up. I get credits for that. That's crazy.
A scholarship for that.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Dude, I was talking to their school wrestling coach, and he said that women's wrestling is the best way to get a college scholarship for sports. Like if you can do women's wrestling, there's just so many opportunities for scholarships in that at the college level, and there's not that many.
There's not that many women wrestlers, and there's that many scholarships available. So yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense for sure. But guys, John, GW, I really appreciate your time. I'm really excited to try the Athlethc. Can't wait to see what it does, especially on the golf course for me. And I'm definitely going to pass some along to the crew to get some of their opinions as well. So why don't you let the listeners know where they can find you guys?
Yeah, man, you can find us online at athlethc.com and
all of our
media at Athlethc.
Yeah, all of our handles are just at Athlethc, TikTok, Facebook. We just launched all the social media, so the Instagram's probably the furthest along, but all the platforms are coming up. Yeah, be the guy to bring the 10 of mints to the foursome.
Oh, do more than that. G-Dub created these extra special plush gym towels / golf towels.
Yes,
send you those with the mints.
All right, there we go. Perfect.
I embroidered in my basement with my grandma's sewing machine by hand.
There you go.
Yeah, none of that synthetic stuff. 100% cotton, baby.
Hell yeah. There you go. Perfect. That's awesome. Once again, guys, I really appreciate your time, taking the time out of your busy day. Appreciate everybody tuning into the Pitch Putt and Puff podcast. Make sure you guys go check out these guys out at athlethc.com. THC to end it is how you spell it. I'll post it in the description below. And appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
Pitch, putt, and puff, it's our podcast theme. Talking Burton Bogies, hole in one dream. Golf cart cruising, we're the illest team. Pitch, putt, and puff, light it up, hit the rough. Every swing's a story, we can't get enough. Hazards and hard times, we know it's tough, but we live for the game, fam, that's our stuff. Got my clubs in the trunk, blunt in the front. Tee off in the noon, cause we don't bunt. Discuss in the course, weed strains for lunch. Straight shooters on the greens, not a front. Pitch, putt, and puff, light it up, hit the rough. Every swing's a story, we can't get enough. Hazards and hard times, we know it's tough, but we live for the game, fam, that's our stuff. Smoking aces, laces tied tight. With a puff we fly, elevate the night. Golf ball soaring, higher than a kite. Fairway to heaven, shining real bright. Pitch, putt, and puff, light it up, hit the rough. Every swing's a story, we can't get enough. Hazards and